going to go into the nitty gritty of action taking to supercharge your health. We know we've all been there. We know what we need to do to feel better. We know what we need to do to look better. And we know that we need to take that first step. But taking that first step sometimes can seem like climbing a mountain. And guess what, though? Spring is here and it's all about new beginnings. So, this is the perfect time to take those first steps. We're going to explore some really super simple, itty bitty steps to kickstart your wellness journey so that we don't feel overwhelmed. Because that's the biggest issue, is that when we start to make changes, we move into feeling like we have to do it all and not pinpointing what our next best steps are. So let's have a look at that today. So the first things first is you need to figure out where you want to go. What is it that you actually want to achieve? Do you want to add more activity in your day? Well, that's a simple solution. We need to plug some appointments into our week of you going for a walk or going to the gym or finding a local class that you want to attend. So the first step is work out what's your health vision? And it doesn't need to be the ultimate unachievable goal. It can be just something as simple as I want to move more. It might be simple as I want to get better sleep. It might be simple as I'm not drinking enough water. These are all really big changes that you can make. So even though they're single steps, they are really great next best steps. So if you've got a really huge goal, let's try and break it down a little bit. And we're going to whether it's increasing your energy levels or whatever it is, but we're going to be precise about what is it that we want to achieve. Where are we trying to get to with this? Because being healthy, there are so many different aspects of what good health looks like and what it means. And I mean, even meeting Sean today, I'm thinking I need to get onto my lymphatic drainage and improve my system. So there are so many different aspects of it, and it can feel overwhelming. We're just going to pick one area and have a clear target, so it gives you something to aim for, but it's going to get your momentum going so that you can pick up some steam and keep going. And the next step is, once we've decided what is it that we actually want to do, then we're going to cook up an action plan. And now that you've got your goals set, we're going to map out, well, how are you going to reach them? What do you need to do? And we're going to break those goals into manageable steps and think of these as your baby victories, like little baby steps along the way, little checkpoints on your journey to this awesome goal that you're trying to achieve. But we have to take the eyes off the awesome goal. We have to take our eyes off the final achievement of how we want to look and how we want to feel. Because I mean, if you reflect back on how long you've been visualizing that, it's probably been a really long time. But how long have you actually spent taking those little steps and moving forward? And it's all about progress and small wins, because small wins, they just keep building, and then all of a sudden you get this snowball effect that just gives you that energy and that motivation to keep going. So having a roadmap of your plan of what you're going to do makes the whole process feel like less of a huge mountain to climb. And you just know, okay, you could just take out your, even the next month, just do a month plan. And you might say, okay, this week I'm going to make sure I get 2 walks in. Write that down and tick that off. The next week, I'm going to keep up with those 2 walks, but I'm going to add a handful of greens, because it's what we just talked about, into your meals twice a day. So for lunch and for dinner. Awesome. But just having little steps that you're going to implement and you know when to do them. And I find that when I do have a roadmap, especially of projects that I'm working on to complete, I do feel a lot calmer about the work that I need to do. And simply because when I've got a project in mind, I know all the moving elements, just like your project around wanting to possibly shift some body fat or get healthier. So that's the project. And when I'm focusing on my projects, there's a lot of little mini tasks, and there's steps and stages and works of completion that need to happen in order. And if I'm thinking about all of that at the one time, it can feel very, very overwhelming. But if I've plugged it in and I'm talking about making a particular phone call to a guest on the show, for example, well, I'm not going to think about that until the day that I've set on my calendar to do that. So I can kind of dump that idea and not even have to think about it. So for yourself, if moving more is going to be what you're wanting to do, then plug it into your diary and just stop thinking about it, because you know that when that day comes up, you are going to follow through. Yes, you are. And you are going to take action because it's super important for you. And then step number three is, once you have got your plan in place, but hold on, let's not dive too quickly into it. We're not going to try and tackle everything at once. We're going to begin with just a couple of doable changes that feel achievable for you. We don't want to flip everything on its head. It's just too hard to maintain that, and it's too much energy to flip anything. So we can, though, gradually move our way around things. And maybe it's adding just a daily walk, or adding an extra cup of water, or, as I said, the handful of greens into your meals. But the small victories are going to boost your confidence. Like when you can set yourself something to do and you actually achieve it, you're like, hey, that is awesome. And it does give you that mojo and that fire to keep going and to then make the next change that you're keen to make. And then all of a sudden, as I mentioned before, it's a snowball effect, and you keep going. But spring is all about fresh starts and growth, and it is the perfect time to take that leap towards a healthier you. So set your goals, draw up your game plan, and then start implementing those baby steps. Remembering you don't need to head into overwhelm and climb that mountain all in the one go. You can just make your gradual changes and your gradual steps